Hey everybody, welcome back. Bugsy here. Just want to wish everyone Happy New Year on this first day of the year. Once again, here's hoping that everyone has a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Day. And let's get going.
I find your lack of cannabis disturbing.
So, here's to the start of a brand new year. Let's start it off right. Goddamn, too much shit in the goddamn pocket. Can't get my goddamn lighter out. Cheers, everybody. Happy New Year. Let's ring in the new year right. So, let's start things off while I'm choking with a word from our sponsor.
Strangleholds. For those long nights when you just can't seem to fall asleep, they'll put you out like a light. Get yours tonight. Strangleholds.
Hi, Angel. Happy New Year. Cheers. Good to see you. What the hell? Good to see you, Angel. You guys want to come out and play? You want me to open the door? They're having a morning makeout. My boys are having a morning makeout session over there, the two birds. One's a parrot and one's a parakeet. One's this tall, one's this tall. A Indian ringneck and a budgie. You know, I did. I didn't stay up until midnight to officially ring it in, but I had firsthand front row seats to a New Year's incident as well. Oh, yeah. I don't know how old my birds are. Both of them came, they flew up to our yard, got brought inside for water and food, and never left. So I don't know how old either one of them are. But the the Alexandria parrots and the African macaws and stuff like that, those things can live to be 120 years old. I read up on my Indian ringneck; they can live 80 years. It's like how old was he when he came here? I don't have a clue, but if he's going to live 80 years, he's probably going to outlive me. Literally, my Indian ringneck flew up out of the desert, and my dad gave him water, and he rode in on my dad's arm into the house. Is how he came to be, and he doesn't have an ankle bracelet or anything. No phone number to call. In other words, no serial number to trace. I mean, and he's been with me about 10 years now. So yeah, and he's a lover. He likes to spend time on my shoulder, kissing with me, picking at my beard and stuff like that. So yeah, I call the budgie his baby brother, but because they're like identical in color, they're both bright blue, and so the parrot's name is Blue. Well, the budgie's name is Sapphire. So it's like another name for blue. The big one, I call him by the Spanish word for his name sometimes, but I elongate syllables to make it sound like something else. I call him Azul. Azul with blue in Spanish. Uh, Azul. Yeah, the budgie keeps him company, definitely. Tito Jackson. That's funny. Did he sing like one of the Jackson Five? Or she, or whatever. Mine are both boys, but makes it convenient. Don't have to deal with no fucking unfertilized egg stockpile or nothing like that. The fact that they're both boys. Yeah, yeah. Mine don't do much dancing, but they'll get loud when they like the noise that's going on around them too. They'll start singing along with whatever noise is going on. The louder the noise or music or whatever gets, the louder they get. Pretty soon they'd be screaming, fucking just going off. While both of their breeds are known for speaking, neither one of mine have really spoken a word. The bigger one does make a noise. When I tell him, love you, he makes a noise that sounds like he's trying to say love you back, but it just comes out, you know. That's funny. Yeah. Mine definitely it does the cat, like if you whistle a cat call, like it does the same back. Who's a pretty bird? I just made them shut up because they were talking to each other for a minute, and then I interjected myself. Yeah, spend it, but I do spend a lot of fucking time speaking towards them. But they're locked in right now. Every once in a while, I like to lock them up in the big cage, make them spend some time in their own territory where I don't have to clean up their shit constantly. Not just, I don't, when I say the shit, I don't mean their literal poop, because they're more likely to go sit in their cage to poop anyway. But there is poop. There's poop on my curtain because they like to sit on the curtain rod. And sometimes I like to, their seeds get everywhere when the door's open. Sometimes I like to have my floor clean for a half a day instead of fucking 10 minutes. Yeah, I did. I interrupted them. They were talking to each other, and then when I whistled, they shut up. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, it's like in general, I let them have free run of this whole room. And they can even go up in the fucking air conditioning vent above the door there. The registers off of it. They can go up inside the vent and go peek in all the other rooms that have air conditioned vents in them. So they go like from fucking vent to vent looking out in the room. Hey, Dog Pound, how's it going, brother?
Hey, what's up? Happy New Year's, man.
Happy New Year's. Did you hear what I said earlier? Were you hearing me? What I said, I witnessed an incident?
What incident?
Yeah, well, okay, I watched a car crash right after sunset last night, and
Whoa.
I was completely torn about it because I had gone to the pub, had a pitcher of beer, and then I was driving. So I didn't want to stick around and talk to the cops, so I drove the
Yeah.
fuck off.
Hell
But
yeah.
I came up to the highway here. Now, the highway here in our little town, there's one stoplight in our little town. And the highway out either end of town is 65 mile an hour. Through town, it's 45. But how many people do you think obey that fucking drop in speed limit for a fucking one stoplight fucking blink and you miss it town?
No shit, right?
Well, I'm perfectly aware of how often shit runs that stoplight because I see fucking 18 wheelers blow right through it all the time. So I pull up at the stoplight to come across the highway. A guy pulls up in the left hand turn lane next to me, and we sit there for about a minute waiting for the light to turn. Typical small town waiting to get on the highway thing. Well, the light turns green. I sit and wait and double check and make sure there ain't nothing blowing through the light. Well, the guy who had pulled up next to me in the turn lane, he didn't. When the light turned green, he went. And the guy blew through the fucking red light doing at least 65, dude. It, luckily, the guy taking off saw him enough that he was able to slam his brakes on and come to a stop. And the guy who ran the fucking red light just like blew the guy's bumper off the front of his car. And it fucked his car up because his car lurched off to the side and like dug in like he like lost the fucking front wheel or something, you know. But the guy he hit, he just like blew the front bumper off the guy's car or whatever. But I had drank a fucking pitcher of beer at the pub, dude. I had down at the bar down the way. I wasn't going to stick around and talk to a fucking cop on New Year's Eve. It's after sundown after having a pitcher in me
No.
when I'm in my car. I wasn't going to do it. And
Maybe stop and just be like, hey, y'all okay? And then get the fuck out. But after that, no,
well,
not sticking around. No.
well, I could see that the guy that got hit, he was okay. The one who had a green light, me and him had a green light, and he started to go and got hit. I could see he was okay. The other people, I don't know if they were okay, but I drove the fuck away. You know what I mean? I wasn't sticking around to talk to a cop.
At that point, I'm going to say this as a maximum. At that point, the max you could have done without getting yourself in trouble, okay? Now, hear me, people. I'm not advocating just saying fuck it. I'm saying without getting yourself in trouble. Is stopped, made sure everybody was okay. Maybe give the dude that wasn't at fault your numbers so you can help him out because he
You're
got fucked
right.
up, and then
Right.
leave. And that's the maximum. The minimum is like you look, okay, nobody's bleeding, no car flip, cool, I'm out.
That's yeah. Neither car burst into flames. The one
Yeah.
had that got damaged had the momentum, so it kept right on rolling up the road. The other guy's car it jerked a little bit, but it didn't leave its fucking spot in the road. You know what I mean? It got hit just enough to jerk
Yeah.
the car, but not make it leave its fuck. It didn't go spinning out or nothing like that.
Now you got to understand on the flip side, if like a car
I
flipped,
also
there was one of them on fire or something, yeah, I'd have been like, yeah,
I
dude,
would
you
have
should
got out and
go.
fucking tried to pull a motherfucker
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
You know, I would have gone to the other extreme. I would have got out and tried to intervene.
yeah, but nobody was hurt. No explosions. Cool, it was an accident.
Yeah.
I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah. And on top of having had the pitcher of beer, I had sat on the back porch at the bar and smoked up with someone, so probably reeked of weed too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Hey,
I had
at that point, maximum, maybe check on them. Minimum, at least look over. But in no
that's what
way stick around to get yourself in trouble.
yeah. Yeah. It conflicted me. I was having a horrible fucking self conflict over it. You know what
No,
man.
you're good, man. You know, if you'd have just hit the gas, kept going, and be like, "Oh, I heard something," without ever looking, like, well, that was kind of dickish, but you know, whatever. But at least to
No,
sit and
I
wait
was
and
in
watch it unfold, like, cool.
I had sensed the situation coming. I had seen the headlights out of the corner of my eye, and I had made the decision to sit where I was and not punch the gas when the light turned green. I had already made that decision. I wasn't moving off the fucking safety spot. Now, my safety spot wasn't completely safe in that moment because I was like, he had pulled out. I was okay. We were here at the stoplight. He had pulled out into that lane, stopped, and got clipped by shit coming from this side. So it could have fucking pushed him right into me if he'd
Yeah.
have gone a little further, or it would have been a little more towards him. It could have bounced his car right back into me too.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
I sat there in the safe zone and watched it go crunch, and the other car fucking get fucking like have to pull off the road because it was no longer drivable, maybe. But
Wow.
it just pulled off to the right side of the highway, and the dude sat there for a second in the other car. He was sitting there. I pulled across the highway while the light turned yellow, so I went ahead and went across. I got my fucking ass the fuck out of the intersection. I stopped on the other side and I watched, and he turned his car and drove up towards where the other car had been forced to pull off the road after it hit him. So he followed the other car up. He was driving his car. I went ahead and drove the fuck on home.
No, you're good,
know?
dude. Like I said, you
Yeah.
saw what happened. No car exploded. No car was upside down. Not your business. You're out.
Yeah. Not my monkeys, not my circus.
Hey, Marvel.
Marvel, Cuphead, how you doing, brother? Happy New Year. Hope you get to watch a lot of new comics movies this year. I hope a bunch come out for you.
Dude, today's the first day I'm using my water distiller. Because, like, when you're growing weed plants indoors, a lot of people will do it like organic and they'll go get distilled water from the store. Well, it used to be under $1. Now it's like $1.25. And I'm like, no. So I got a distiller. I'll make my own.
Yeah, heck yeah. You know, Angel, okay, going to age myself right here, which I think it's kind of obvious anyway, but when I was 19, in 1989, when I was 19, I was in a 1968 Buick that got hit broadside by a gas tanker rolling at 55 mile an hour fully loaded with gas. It completely crushed I was in the passenger seat. It completely crushed the passenger side of the car. It broke my pelvis. I got pitched out of the car and pushed by it, sliding through broken glass with my hand covering one side. The back of his hand was all fucking sliced and full of glass. This side of my face, I could see the inside of my cheek. It was hanging open in a way that I could see the inside of my cheek looking down.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it broke my pelvis. They had to put me in a medical coma for a few days while I laid still in the hospital to let the bones set. They had to keep me perfectly immobilized, so the bone would set. Still didn't heal perfect. It healed offset, so I've been crooked ever since. The muscles in my side. Yeah, well,
wow.
But that makes me kind of now, even to this day, acutely aware in situations like the stoplights and shit like that. I still to this day pay heavy attention to. I don't ever want I don't ever want to feel what I felt again. Ever. And I'm acutely aware of the possibility of it.
I can't imagine it. But you know what amazes me? You see a lot of videos of like trains hitting cars and people trying to duck under the bars to make it pass and not make it and stuff. But every once in a while, you'll catch a video where a train hits a car. That car is just fucking mangled. But the dude lived.
Yeah.
And it's like, how? Fucking how?
Crumple zones. Modern cars, crumple zones. It allows half the car to get completely fucking accordionized and the other half stay intact. It just goes and crunches it like an aluminum can, but it keeps a safety zone in the middle.
If you're going to buy a Ford Raptor. I saw a video with a bus running into every type of Ford vehicle that's on the modern market. Like they literally just parked it and ran a fucking bus into it with a brick wall behind them. The Ford Raptor was like the only one somebody may be able to survive. The only one.
Right. Yeah. I think I seen a video that was probably the same people related to it. It was like every different kind of car.
Yeah.
And it just mangled fucking everything.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
And like, what are these safety crash test ratings that all these vehicles have, man? A single empty bus can fucking flatten it like a pancake. Where's the safety rating?
The safety rating is survivability at like 35 mile an hour. That's the safety rating.
Jesus.
And some get good at that, and some suck at even that.
30 miles an hour, it should be 70. That's the standard speed limit in the U.S. Give me a safety rating at that motherfucker.
Well, that's the problem. Almost nothing is safe at that speed.
That's true. No.
If you ain't got a fucking roll cage built in, you ain't fucking safe at that speed, period. Plain and simple.
That's why I like my
And even if you do, if your harness isn't right, you're going to fucking kill yourself by hanging yourself on a fucking seatbelt. You know what I mean? At that speed.
That's why I like my smart car. All it is an engine attached to a roll cage with plastic panels on the outside. That's all a smart car is, a giant fucking roll cage.
Yep.
With 4 wheels.
You know, this car I just bought a car. I bought a 2016 Chevy Impala LT Police Interceptor. So it's a mid-size car, but it's got the police chip, so it'll fucking like burn out. Its front wheel drive will go. Its fucking little front wheel drive will smoke the fucking tires.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a cool fucking car. I enjoy it, but I've owned it for 1 month now, and it's like I saw that car's life flash before my eyes when that happened last night. It's like I still owe on this car. I saw its life flash before my eyes. was
Oh,
basically what went down. You know, I bought it 1 month ago and still owe. So it's like,
and dude, at that point, if you had pulled forward, the car got hit, spun into you, be like, oh, there goes that shit.
I know. It's like, you're ruining my life. I turned into fucking Napoleon Dynamite. Oh, you're ruining my life.
Fuck.
Fucker.
Little Corsa. That's funny, Irish Angel. Like I call my smart car. That's like the Jolly Green Giants roller skate. That's what I call it.
Corsa. If I was driving a smart car, my problem is I'd say, okay, this has too much weight. I need the weight of a motorcycle at this point with this amount of power. I need the weight of motorcycle and the maneuverability of two wheels.
I'm convinced that a full-size bagger weighs more than my car.
Oh, I agree with that statement too, but I'm not one to ride that kind of. I like a sport bike with no fairings. To be perfectly honest, have you ever seen a Buell? Have you
Yes.
seen Harley Davidson's electric bike, the Livewire?
No, I've
You
seen a
should
video
look
of
at
it,
it.
but I haven't seen one up front. Like I've
Yeah,
seen
you
a
should
couple
look at it.
Buells. I know guys who own them.
I like those, and I like a stripped down cafe racer like style bike, basically.
Okay, okay. You'd
And
almost enjoy like the old bobbers and shit.
yeah, well, my 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 motorcycle that I last owned that was good enough to ride as I rode it as a daily driving vehicle. It was my ride to and from work. Was a 1979 Kawasaki KZ 750.
Oh, nice,
And
nice.
and
750 will tear it up, man.
it had the dragster type handlebars on it. They just had the little come up like that and then go down sort of away from the gas tank, so that you're leaning above the gas tank when you ride, a cafe style handlebar.
Dude, I had a 750 Cal at one time, and I left the country for a vacation for a while, and I put the bike in my grandfather's basement. It was an outside like basement, and then there was an opening to go under the house and shit.
Uh
And I
huh.
put it down there for safekeeping. Well, what I didn't know, it was the middle of winter, and Grandpa was going to go see his brother in Arizona. And after he left, a pipe broke. So when he came back, dude,
It submerged.
oh yeah, it was an ice block, dude. It was like 5 foot tall, like barely the handlebars of my bike and shit was above the ice block. You could crawl in there on top of the shit and be like, hey,
Uh
it's a
huh.
bike.
That's crazy.
Oh, ruined it. Just ruined it. And I love that bike, man. That was like a road
Yep.
warrior. Dude.
Yep.
Yeah. 750 cows, man. They're beasts. But yeah, ruined that bike,
You
man.
like scramblers, Angel? I have an appreciation for those. The scrambler was pretty neat. You know what I like out here in the desert? Several friends of mine have owned them. It's a Volkswagen. It's not the Beetle or the bus. It's called a Volkswagen thing. It's like that
Yeah.
German military looking car that fucking you'll literally it's waterproof. The body's waterproof. It'll float like a boat and drive across the lake.
Diesel.
It may be diesel. I'm not certain
Diesel.
of what theirs is, but yeah. But it's a badass little fucking vehicle.
Yeah, those are nice. Those things, man. They were like your original beach runners, man.
Yeah, exactly. You could literally, if the tide came in, they would float like a boat.
Yeah. Fucking great, dude. We need more of those old cars brought back, man. Fuck all this new bullshit nobody can work on. You take it to a mechanic, get your oil changed, it's $500. What the fuck? Oh.
I know. Was another thing about the car I bought, though, that I worry about it being the police interceptor model. I already found out, fucking, if I go in and ask for the make and model without letting them know it's a police interceptor, I can't buy the right headlight. They give me the wrong fucking headlight bulbs. I have to tell them it's a police interceptor to get the correct headlight bulb.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
But
You know, you ever watch the
I mean,
Blues
it's once I figured it out, I didn't even know it was when I bought it. But once I figured out that it was the police interceptor model, it became much easier to point out why. It has the extra bars, struts under the hood that strengthen the front end, make the front end more rigid. It has those bars that go across and shit like that. You know, you could use it with a cop push bumper on it. You could push other cars out of the road and shit like that. You know.
Dude, I think more people should be buying cars like that. Old police cars and old mail trucks. If you can get a hold of an old mail truck,
I'd love to have an old mail
man.
Jeep, the Willys Jeep with the British style steering wheel on the opposite side.
Yeah.
You know, so
Even
they could reach out and.
Even nowadays, the models they have now, if you can get a hold of them, just a general mail truck, oh man, that's pimp tits. Those things last forever.
Oh hell yeah!
They're
But
built.
out here, they'd still use the Jeeps with the steering wheel on the right hand side.
Yeah.
Going down dirt roads to mailboxes in front of houses out dirt roads, you almost have to have something like that, you know.
And same thing here. I mean, every small town has them. I mean, a lot of your cities have the multi-boxes now, the big great things with like 15 people's mailboxes in them.
Believe it or not, in what they call Sun City West, which is a retirement community made by Del Webb. You know, he makes all the Sun Cities all over the country, like here and in Florida and California. And he's got fucking communities called Sun City everywhere. But anyway, in that township, they still have mailmen who park their mail truck and then go around the community on bicycles putting mail in people's letterboxes in their doors on bicycle. It's trippy to see that shit. It's like, didn't that go away with the milkman? That went away at the same time as the milkman, I thought.
Dude,
You
we
know?
still got a mail guy that walks around. He's just in town to like all the stores and stuff and everything.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we got a hoof and booter out here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we still got some beat cops in the downtown area. Cops that stand out on the street corner and monitor shit.
That's nice. You don't see a lot of that anymore. Actual beat cops. That's nice.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that than just people sitting in a car with the radar gun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'd rather see someone out protecting the kids of the community and shit like that. And getting to know them, maybe. Once they get to know a kid's name, they're less likely to chase them over thinking they have a doobie in their pocket, you know?
Yeah. Get to know the parents.
Yeah.
That way, if there is a problem with the kids, you don't have to chase them down. It's like, I'll just go to his house, stupid fucker.
Yeah, exactly. Get to know the people that you got to be a part. If you aren't a part of the community you're policing, I have a problem with you policing that community.
And come on, I'm the dick that'll tell you they're all fucking crooked and shit. You know?
Yeah,
because,
me too.
You know, you even see a lot of these auditors going like, "Oh, you work for me," blah blah. No, they don't. The law clearly states that the police are under no obligation to protect any individual or their rights in any way. That's a direct quote. The cops are not here to protect and serve you in any way. They're not here for the people. That is law.
Right.
And like, I wish more of these auditors would take the time to actually read the law. You know?
Yeah. I agree.
You know, it's nice that you know your First Amendment, but there's a whole lot of more amendments than that.
Yes. Yes.
Everyone's always screaming about the first, fourth, and fifth.
And second.
Well, second, yeah. Well, I don't get into the second argument because I am a gun owner, so fuck you about it in general.
Well, I firmly believe that every motherfucker should be allowed to have a shotgun and a hunting rifle.
Oh yeah. Oh, 3 guns.
Every maybe even required to own them, because maybe you should have to go get your own fucking food and not be dependent on people once in a while. But that being said, I don't think anyone needs to own a machine gun per se.
No.
I think I think a machine gun can be treated just like a car. You should maybe have to have a license to drive. You know,
I'll agree with that.
That's my opinion of that. I think you should be able to get one and get a license and get a machine gun and go out to the range and fire it
with a license.
But you also have to carry insurance when you're driving a car on a public street.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, Grandpa always taught us growing up, every man should have 3 guns: a rifle, a handgun, and a shotgun.
A shotgun, yeah.
Rifle to get your food, handgun for the coyotes and in case you miss your shot and you got to go walking after it, and a shotgun to protect your property when you're at home.
Yeah.
3 guns. Grandpa always taught us.
The shotgun doubles as a hunting rifle too when you hunt birds.
Sometimes, yeah. Depending on the shot you have, yeah.
You know, so you can call all of them hunting weapons, all of those. I mean,
and that has nothing to do with protecting yourself against people, protecting yourself against the cops. That has everything to do with common sense. To go hunt and feed yourself, protect your property, keep the coyotes away from your animals. It has nothing to do with anything else but living life. And that's what we were taught. It wasn't taught, oh, it's your right. No, this is what you need to survive. That's what we were taught.
Of course, I'm from one of the most, here comes two terms that sound like a conflict of interest. The most liberal gun laws, most liberal with the guns, if you know what I'm saying. They were liberally spread around. The guns were literally practically given for Christmas to every kid. You know what I mean? Arizona is that way. Arizona's always been the Wild West when it comes to the gun laws, you know? So it's like, my mom literally went to Detroit because she worked for Chrysler. She worked for them here, but on a company deal where they all went to the main place for Chrysler in Detroit, Michigan. They all got together, people from all over the country that worked for Chrysler, all got together and made a day trip into Canada. The bus got stopped and searched because my mom's ID said Arizona because of the gun laws here.
Wow.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, the Canadians are fucked up anyway. And I know I said it wrong. That's what I call them. Fucking Canadians. Okay, they don't understand. They've been lied to all their life. They live in North America. They're Americans, not some other country. They live in North America. Say that to a Canadian.
Yeah, well, half of them, they're all fucking British subjects still, so fuck them.
Which that baffles me too. Why is the United States letting British own their property? That doesn't make, if it's North America, that's what we were taught in school. Remember the maps?
Well,
North
that's
America,
the continent.
America, South America.
That's the continent, and Central America is part of North America as far as continents go.
And so is South America.
No, South America. Well, it's divided by where it becomes very narrow, and then a whole nother continent.
No, that's where it stops. South America stops at Panama. That's the end of South America, and that's all connected to Central, and so is the North. That's what I'm saying. There's such a divide, and it's
Well,
like
I mean,
y'all
there's
are one.
only by continental plates does that make any difference. That's the same
You're right.
thing as Europe and Asia. Europe and Asia, because unless you count the crack in the tectonic plates that runs through Turkey, it's all one fucking continent otherwise. Europe and Asia and the Middle East, it's all one fucking continent.
but-
If you're not taking into account there's a continental plate difference
But then you got to
underneath.
split
There's
Turkey almost in half, man. It'd
you
be like
do.
two-thirds of
It
Turkey
literally is.
center.
Yeah. Budapest is on straddle the river, and it's not Budapest. It's two cities. On one side of the river is Buda, and on the other side is Pest.
No,
You know
right.
what I mean? You know? And so.
Well, dude, there's like, I want to say Texas, for example. There's towns you can be driving for an hour and never leave town, and it's like, what the fuck? The cities are just huge in some places.
That's the way Phoenix is here. Literally, my little town is on one side of the city. Used to be a little town. Now it's consumed by suburb.
Yeah.
Where my sister lives is on the other side of the city. It used to be a little mining town, also like one of the biggest prisons in the western United States, is in Pinal County, which is literally named Pinal because it's a penal colony. It's the one county in Arizona that isn't named after Indian tribes, Native American tribes, I should rephrase to now. You know, it's the one county that's not named for like Cochise, Maricopa, all that. Those are tribal names.
Maricopa.
Pinal, that's where I live. That's where Phoenix is.
What's the translation of that?
It's a tribal name. It's what a tribe went by in its native tongue.
Okay.
Cochise is the same type. Is the same thing.
Yeah.
Navajo. But we have all these different Native American names, tribal names, and then we have Pinal County, which was literally penal colony. You know what I mean? It's named for being the biggest prison in the West, literally.
Oh my God. Nice.
And it's the city of Florence, which was an old mining city, and it is. My sister lives out there. We're 120 miles apart, and it's literally you never leave suburbs ever the whole trip across. It's all one metropolitan area from my house to her house, 120 miles apart.
Wow.
It's one continuous metropolitan area. I think we're approaching on the land-wise the biggest metropolitan area in the country, and it's up damn near. It's sooner or later it's going to be all the way from Phoenix to Tucson. Is all going to be one metro area because it's while right now it is native reservations. It is also on the main interstate corridor, and the natives are really interested in putting casinos up along it, and thusly city coming in along it as well is a support structure for major casinos. You know what I mean? There's literally going to be suburbs all along that fucking highway.
I mean,
absolutely.
A lot of jobs, a lot of money coming in.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of tech jobs, tech companies setting up factories and facilities in the valley here. They call it, refer to it as Valley of the Sun. That's the Phoenix metropolitan area.
Okay.
That's literally, there's flatlands all the way from Phoenix Tucson that's just desert floor to be built upon. You know?
That's where they should start building fucking housing for all these.
That they will too.
And
It
you
will
know,
be.
I almost said for all these immigrants coming in and stuff, but we got all these people of our own living on the streets. Let's start housing them.
You know what? We have enough housing sitting empty, waiting to be sold right now to stick everyone in a house. The problem is nobody wants to give what they own away. No one.
No, there's a lot of empty houses people have that they used to rent that they're not renting out anymore. They just own them.
Yep. That's for sure.
Dude, I'd like to take 10 acres and build 10, something like 10 single, like studio tiny homes and 10 two-bedroom tiny homes. And the government can do that in plots all across the country and house even these immigrants coming. They could house them all because 90% of the immigrants coming in are single women and women with children. There's a small percentage of it that they're men, you know, and most of the men that are coming in is with their families, not single. You know, so that you could just start making pockets all across the country of 20 homes at a time on, 3-4 acres of land total, tiny homes.
Yeah. Well, they don't even got to be tiny. They just got to be small and efficient.
Well, I'm thinking cost effective. Instead of giving the state of California, what was it, like almost $8 million for just one program and shit. Why not take that 8 million? You could build 2 of these little communities for 8 million easily. You could do it for $1 million. I mean, it's just a complete waste of money. They're tossing money at this all the time. The money goes into a coffer, gets used for something else.
Well, there are examples of it being accomplished that make you say, we could fucking do this. We could do this. There's examples of it being done. Here in Phoenix, the United Way and what's called CAST, the Central Arizona Shelter, something other. It's called CAST. They have the main homeless shelter in downtown Phoenix. What's called the Human Service Campus or something like that. Anyway, these two organizations got together, the United Way, or the Valley of the Sun United Way. It's the Phoenix United Way. It's they got together and basically there are, by the numbers, there are enough for every veteran to be off the street. They have apartments paid for every veteran that they have logged that's on the street here. Problem is, a lot of them veterans would rather be on the street than in an apartment that was given to them.
Well, yeah, you give them an apartment.
There's a whole bunch and the people other than those.
Hold on a second.
You're dealing with a lot of mental problem people other than the veterans. The veterans have mental problem, PTSD issues and shit like that.
You got to understand, you're giving a vet who's already been shit on, has issues and everything else. You're giving an apartment and then a 50-page handbook of rules he has to follow that literally cancels out any resemblance of his life that he had or is having and expects him to be happy with. Well, no, you can take the roof over my head and shove it up your ass.
But there are enough here that don't carry those kind of rule books. They're literally handing keys.
Wow.
They're literally saying, this is yours. Basically, it's a bought and paid for condominium that you now own. Here's your key.
I'll take that.
I would too. I mean, I'm not open to that offer because I was never even allowed to serve because of that car wreck when I was 19 that broke my pelvis. I am, what do they call it, F4 or whatever, medically ineligible.
Yeah. You chaptered out.
Yeah. So it's like the
and
little.
that's just not you. I've seen a lot of people that, like, when I was in the military, like, people were chaptering out that were already in the military. I mean, you get a medical thing at any time, it
Oh
happens.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But no,
That's not a bad thing.
mine was well-known public records of my medical records that the major occurrence in my life at 19.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that there's not just an honorable and dishonorable discharge. There's a chapter discharge. There's an article discharge. If you get an article discharge, you might as well sign your life away. Ain't nobody gonna hire you because the military said you fucked up so bad we don't even want you. Okay, that's
Yeah.
a chapter
Yeah.
discharge or an article discharge.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there's about 4 or 5 different ways out of the military, and only about 2 of them are nice.
Right. Well, like the medical thing just
Yeah,
disqualified me up front. They said, no, we don't want to deal with you getting re-injured. That is
yeah.
basically what they said. We don't want to deal with you re-injuring your injury.
Well, dude, they put a lot of money just into training one troop. Just basic is almost $30,000 for 6 weeks, because it's not only food, housing, it's facility workers that keep it running. It's the soldiers out there that are training you, the command units that are in charge of those soldiers. Just for one person to go through basic 6 weeks basics training, it's over $30,000.
Yeah. Yep.
You thought college was expensive.
Yep.
Yeah, so if there's a chance of you being more injured in there and it's going to cost them more money, yeah, they're like, fuck you, we don't want it. Where's Irish Angel at? Is she actually over in Ireland?
I believe so. I met her at Dave's stream.
Okay. Well,
I
I keep.
believe it's a her. I don't even know if Angel is a gal.
Well,
Honestly, I assumed because
yeah.
my daughter's name is Angel, so I assume every angel I meet is a gal. But honestly, I know they ain't because I live next to the Mexican border, and every angel that's from
It's
Mexico is a
man.
man.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm getting the impression that she's not from the U.S. because she says the same
right,
here where I am, not saying a state, because most states have the
right,
same bullshit rules that we all got to follow.
right. Arizona's just famous for its open carry policy. There's only a couple places you don't carry your gun. You don't pack your heat into the bank, and you don't pack your heat into the post office, and you're pretty well safe.
Oh my God, Angel. Jesus. Okay, she says she's in the west of Ireland, but she's from the north. So she knows
Yeah.
she's got that Irish accent. She's from the north, so she's got that spicy attitude. She's a woman. Please tell me you're a redhead. We get married tomorrow. Damn. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta lay it out, right? No, I've dated a few redheads. Redheads are mean. The only time I've ever had something thrown at me from across the room or across the house is when I dated redheads. I've had multiple redheads throw shit at me. It's like, what the fuck?
You know what? I've dated a couple of Irish women, and I've dated a couple of like Mexican women, like literally from Mexico City.
Okay.
I'd say that Irish women and Mexican women have a lot in common in attitudes. But they are both quite often Catholic. But I mean, not that I don't gravitate towards Catholics, but the attitudes those groups carry, I guess.
Dude, every time I don't know, I don't know why, but every time I even hear the word Catholic, I think Roman Catholic, and I just get pissed off because English is based on the Roman lettering of English, and they just fucked it all up. I mean,
Yeah.
there's another English. There's another alphabet out there, guys, with 48
Yeah.
letters for the English language that does such
Yep.
a better job than our
Yep.
current model because the Romans were fucking idiots.
Yeah. Well, it's a cross between Roman alphabet and German grammar.
No. I'm just there is an actual.
That the modern English language is a product of the Roman alphabet and German grammar.
Yeah.
When you're talking Old English and some Gaelic and some other languages like that, there are much better, you're right, much better alphabets. But because we've rudimentalized, is that a word? We've made it very rudimental in the structure we've longed for. That's why we use grammar.
Okay, the Shavian. We use the Roman alphabet, which we put letters together like knife, Knife, knife. There's no need for it. There's no reason for it. But thanks to the Roman alphabet, we add silent letters for some fucking reason to make up some nonsense in our heads, okay? But there is another English alphabet called the Shavian alphabet. And it actually it takes into effect like combination letters like the and GF sounding like an F and shit and bullshit like that in our English
Mm-hmm.
language, which doesn't make any fucking sense. That alphabet actually takes into account for those extra sounds and consonants that we use in our language. The
Right.
Shavian alphabet is actually a correct English alphabet, but we don't use it.
Yeah.
Why? It's got 48 characters, not 27. We're lazy.
Well, even this Roman alphabet that we use, we've shaven letters off. We have
Yeah,
shaved letters off. Like that in where people say ye old this or ye old that. That ain't a ye. That Y ain't a Y. It's a
TH.
letter that represents the TH sound, and it's the or the.
And that's old English. That's old world English.
Yes. Yes.
And
It's
see,
the
see how the language
TH that
changes?
yeah.
Like the TH sound used to be a basic Y. That's because
Yeah.
there's another fucking alphabet, people. It's not
Yeah.
just old world English.
The
It's
the
another fucking
letters
alphabet.
the letter is the letter's name is Thorn.
Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes. I think I saw that on a
Uh,
TikTok. I honestly think I saw
I
I
don't.
might have on a TikTok.
My memories of it come from before the time of
Okay. All
before
right.
internet time. So it's something I've been aware of for. I don't know where I learned it, but obviously not in grade school because they don't teach that shit. You know, something I've just always been a curiosity, been a learner. You know, I'm always going to be a student of everything I can be.
You know, Irish Angel just explained how we are in America with our states. Because, like, in European countries, they're so small. A 2 hour drive, you may go across two countries, okay? And
Yeah,
she
yeah,
says from where I am and where Dave is, we're only 2 hours apart, but we speak in a different language, kind of, in a different way. Well,
yeah.
but
Different dialect, like comparing a 2,000 mile separation here,
yeah,
like
yeah,
comparing Alabama to California.
exactly, exactly. So like she's on the small scale of it, just 2 hours away. Well, that's how we are from state to state, period. Like New Yorkers don't sound like people from Jersey, but their states
No.
touch. They touch each
Yep.
other. They're like two different worlds.
Yep.
That's funny that she says that, dude. I keyed it out. I was like, oh, no shit.
But yeah, well, you guys really, as far as if you drive like we do, you can't be more than 2 hours apart when you're living on that size of an island. Can you?
And
How
even
far of it just drive from the northernmost tip of Ireland to the southernmost tip? How long of a drive is that? I can tell you, I drove from Phoenix, Arizona. I drove from Phoenix, Arizona to Oregon City, Oregon. That's 1,200 miles. I drove it straight through in 17 hours.
yeah. And look, she
That's
says her whole state, her whole country is a 6-hour drive from tip to tip.
yeah. There you go. There you go.
I couldn't get out
I
of
spent
Virginia.
17 hours driving straight through to go from Arizona to Oregon.
Yeah. So like
Which
where they say this is like the United States, there is nothing united about us. From state to state, our rules are different, our culture is different, our home lives are different.
no,
There's
we literally
nothing.
are basically, when you compare us to something, you need to think more like the European Union. We're the North American Union. Minus some, because Canada should be considered part of the North American Union at that point, because as far as trade's concerned, it's fucking open borders as far as trade is concerned with Canada.
And like I've known people in like Europe and stuff talking to them on the internet. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna take a day trip. It's about a 2-hour ride and blah blah blah." 2-hour ride, dude. That's not a day trip. Let's just run up there. You know, coming from America, 2 hours. That's just running up to the city real quick.
And there are people who literally live on one side of the border and work on the other here, just
Yep.
like they'd have in Europe.
Yep.
Even between the States and Canada. There's people who drive out of New York State into Toronto or wherever it is there. Is that Toronto in that part? I don't know. I can't. I've been into Canada along the West Coast, and I never thought of it as anything more than just some more West Coast. West Coast America. It was just more mountains, more pine trees, more West Coast. You know what I mean? Got colder as the further north you went.
And you know, I've never understood Ireland, dude. The issue in Ireland with like Northern Ireland being like I don't even know, what is it, British rule or something? Might be French.
That's
I don't
it
know.
right there. That's a last vestige of British rule in
But
Ireland.
think about it. If this is Ireland, Northern Ireland, that the British rule is like part of this top white part of my cigarette pack. Why do I've never understood this whole war that Ireland had with that little part of their own country. Dude, you start right here, collect everybody on the fucking island and just take it back. There's no war. Leave your guns at home. Just go take it. Physically remove all British rule officers, put them on the docks, and say
Because
that's your
at one
go.
time
Go
the
away.
British were the most powerful thing on the planet.
But that's what I'm saying. We're talking modern day times, and it's still like
Yeah.
that. Fuck that. Just take the entire island, walk over, say, no, this is ours, fuck off. They're not going to kill everybody. Just physically grab them, put them in donkey carts, and take them to the fucking port. That road is yours. Fuck off. That's
I
it.
gotta run to the can, man. I'll be back
You
in a
grab a
second.
million people, those 300 officials in Northern Ireland aren't going to do shit. I don't care if they're cops or in 300 people versus a million. Motherfucker, they're getting on the boat. They're sitting in the donkey cart. Fuck you. I've never understood that. I mean, there was this giant war for years and generations in Ireland. And like so many Southern Irelanders, they totally at one point just obliterated the numbers by outnumbering their forces against them. But they didn't have the firepower. Well, good. Leave the firepower at home. Just walk up and remove the fuckers. grab 50 people per person, put them in a donkey cart, and push them away. No guns needed. I've never understood the logic behind, oh, we needed more weapons, we need more explosives, we need to make a statement. Fuck that. Just go do. Just take them and get rid of them. No fight, no war. You're fucking out of here. I don't know. That's just me. It's complicated. Even when I was at school, they wouldn't teach us our history because of how bad it was.
Yippee!
And see, I think that's wrong. That's wrong. The people I'm not even going to say that country, the people on that fucking island have been oppressed for longer than those schools were even invented. It goes back that many generations. But they're not going to teach that to you. They're not going to teach natural history. They're not going to teach the evolution of their culture. I find that wrong. I find that wrong. Good or bad, it's the evolution of your culture. And that's not even being on Irish. You could have said any country does that. I'm like, no, that's wrong. This is the evolution of your culture. We need to know where we came from.
Yeah, that's us here. We're greatly guilty of whitewashing our history. We have a tendency to leave out the bad things that ourselves have done.
Oh yeah, say it was a famine, but it was a genocide. Oh yeah, during the Great Potato Famine and shit, when it was basically the potatoes got the Black Plague for their thing, that species. Dude, there was no help from the British rule. That was the British's time to say, nah, they'll die off. We just got to wait a little bit. Be patient. They'll die. That's what the British did.
No, you know who helped the Irish and who have a bond to this day because of what they did? It's the Navajo Nation. One of the Native American tribes here in Arizona, the Navajo Nation, like literally made care packages and sent them to Ireland, and there's a special bond between the Irish government and the Navajo Nation here because of that to this day.
Dude, that just means
we was never taught that. We was never taught that in school here in Arizona. I learned that through Irish, having actually becoming friends with Irish people is how I learned the connection between the Navajo Nation, which is close to home for me. The Navajo Nation, I live, a day trip from being on the Navajo Nation reservation.
Think about how much the Navajo Nation can fuck over the United States. If to this day they still have an established connection, all the Navajo Nation would have to do is say, well, we want to enter into agreements, and our land is your land is our land. Well, and so part of America would actually be Ireland at that point. If the Navajo Nation accepts Irish rule, part of America would be Ireland.
Well, you got to understand there too. At this point, you don't anything you hear like there's the Royal Irish something other, the RI something. It's the Royal Irish. Anything that has the word royal on it, it's not really Irish. It's English ruled Ireland. It's Northern Irish stuff. Anything that has the word royal, we say Ireland doesn't accept royalty as a royalty. And that's part of the problem there. Between you get good relations between those two, you're not going to have one basically royalty over the other.
And see, in my mind, like the world shouldn't accept the Royal Irish Navy because they're not the Irish Navy. That is just a branch of British.
Exactly, it is.
Okay, that's not an Irish Navy. So
no, because the Ireland isn't going to name nothing of theirs royal nothing.
No shit.
That's British to them. That's British to them.
See, Ireland, Americans are on your side. We know what's up. We know
I
who got
am.
fucked
I am
over.
for sure.
Free
I
Ireland.
am. Hell yeah.
Free Ireland.
United Ireland, and I stand with United Ireland
Absolutely.
intentions.
You know, on Omegle, they used to have a line up there when you got on Omegle, it would say, stand against stand with China against the CCP. Basically, stand with the people against the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of the same thing. Fuck that. Stand for United Ireland.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my surname is a product of Ireland, so the name Malone is from County Offaly, I believe is how it's pronounced. It looks like it could be written Offaly, written of the word Offaly, but I've heard it pronounced Offaly.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And you know, in this day and age, why are we even listening to this British rule or the European king and queen? God save the queen that she just passed away. But you know, they're like the king and queen, Europe, right? They're not European. They're fucking Germans that took over. Oh, British rule. The great British, right? They started off as Russian royalty.
Yep.
Your people are being ruled by other countries that are taking over other countries. This is a known fact. The
Yep.
fuck is wrong with you people? The Germans rule Europe, the Russians rule Great Britain. It's a known fucking fact.
Yep.
It's 2024. We have all the information in the world at our fingertips. Don't believe a word
Absolutely.
anybody fucking says. Just look it the hell up. The truth is there. Look it up.
Yep.
The whole monarchy, it's all been lies. For 100 generations, they've lied to you.
Yeah.
And we've known this for what?
Exactly.
3 generations now we've known this? Yeah, the king and queen are German. They are. They are. They are German descent. So that's why I say all this, oh, Northern Ireland's British, blah, blah, blah. No, fuck you people. We're an island. This is ours. Fuck off. Okay? That's like if somebody flew over to Honolulu and took over the east side of the island and said, oh, we're Africa now. What? Shut the fuck up and go home. You know what I'm saying? It's just absurdly ridiculous.
And yet there it is. And yet there it is.
I know. And you know, if more people treated it like I do, like this is just fucking absurdly ridiculous, fuck off. If all of Ireland treated it like, eventually Northern Ireland would come back to them because nobody would give a fuck or follow any of the British rules or laws because we would just be like, fuck off.
Yep.
May sound passive aggressive, but you're on a fucking island. It's yours. Treat it like yours. That's all I'm saying.
And I feel like Scotland should do the same.
Yes. Yes. It isn't. Well, is Scotland a full island nation?
No, they are connected with
Yeah.
England. Now, halfway up Scotland, there is literally a valley that is a lock that splits the country literally in two in almost a perfectly straight line. So you could almost say that the southern half of Scotland is connected to England while the northern half isn't.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, but that's always the division between England and Scotland has always been the most northern point that the Romans ever made it. It's the wall. In my mind, is the point between England and Scotland is the wall. You know.
So Scotland don't like the English. Well, no shit. While the English talked sweet to Scotland during the battles and wars, they were feeding weapons to their enemies. Of course, they don't like the English. The English are assholes. Think about it. Oh, we'll back you. We like you. We love you. Here's some daggers.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sorry. I just think the fucking blatant.
Well, I mean, you look at what they did in India for so long. How do you think they became the tea mongers of the world? England didn't have tea at home. They got their tea from somewhere, right? They got it from fucking India is where they got it from. And
okay, how'd that work out? Like, what kind of deal did they make there?
Well, you know how long Britain ruled India, right? Have you ever studied that at all?
No, I haven't. That's why I asked. I
I mean,
literally
why
I don't know a
why do
whole
you
lot
think
about it.
English is a major language in India? As it is, English is, but it's Queen's English, not American English. If you go and talk to anyone who's learned English in Germany at this point, they've learned American English, not the Queen's English or the King's English, as it would be called now.
Okay.
What they speak in England is the Queen's English, or was called that during my whole lifetime until now. Now it will be referred to as the King's English.
No. It's still the Queen's English.
In my opinion, yes. She has
No,
been the
he is
major
Queen.
influencer. She has been the influencer of a big chunk of modern world.
Yeah, trust me, he is the Queen.
He is whatever he is. He's not fucking. He's a doofus. He's fucking weird. He looks like one of our. He looks like the banjo player from Deliverance. The ears stick out when he grins.
Now, I can't say he's the Queen, but he is a confirmed cross-dresser. I will say that. There are photos of him in a woman's nightgown. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? Even at that, I don't really give a fuck. He can do what he wants. But
absolutely.
But like I agree with Guck. If you know Guck, he's another Irish dude from over there. He liked to sing a song. It was called "The Queen is a Dracula." It's like she was using virgin's blood to keep from dying or something, you know.
If you're a Doctor Who fan, the Queen was replaced by a Slavian in 1847. So it's aliens running Europe.
Well, and people who have been influenced by aliens, such as the Doctor, like you watch the story about Madame de Pompadour. He was the man behind the mirror, the man in the fireplace. The Doctor was always there, a constant part of her life throughout her whole lifetime. It was a matter of a few hours for the Doctor and his companions, but it was her whole lifespan.
Which companion was it? Donna Nobles, the Dr. Donna chick, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It
maybe.
was
No, it's
one
the
of the
black
stars.
kid, one of the black guy. It was the
Yeah,
black when, like Billy Piper time. It was a David Tennant doctor.
Doctor Who's good. But
Yeah,
dude, I don't understand. Like this, the modern day Doctor Who, they had 3 specials, okay? And the third special was the new Doctor Who, which is a black guy. Cool, whatever. But the opening scenes is him in a club, and like there's a lot of YouTube videos out there. Oh, Doctor Who is a black guy in a dress. No, he was in an Irish kilt. Okay. For those of
right.
you who have ever seen an actual kilt, that's what he was wearing. But the point of him dancing in a white wife beater and a kilt in a club, I don't get. That is so far out of the persona of Doctor Who. I don't get it.
My kilt,
There
one
you
of
go.
my kilts.
There you go. That's like
I,
a.
I,
Is
it's
that leather?
Irish. No, it's wool. It's
Okay.
Irish saffron. It's the orange color on the Irish flag.
Oh, okay.
I have the green one as well that matches the other end of the Irish flag. I have Irish Heritage, which is I have St. Patrick tartan. I have Irish Heritage tartan.
See, I catch
I
flack for saying America is too young to have traditions. Like the kilts and the tartans go back 100 generations. That's a tradition. America's
there's
only
a
a couple of 100 years old.
yeah, that's literally like fucking 8 generations.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like 8 generations deep is what America is. If it goes back further than that, we're British and French and Spanish, and if you weren't American, you were a subject of one of those places, or you were native.
Because think about your traditions, even your holidays. None of them are American. We celebrate like President's Day. That's an American holiday. Like
Thanksgiving
Christmas.
is a uniquely American
Yeah,
holiday.
Christmas isn't
Thanksgiving
an
is
American holiday. We brought that
no,
from overseas.
yeah,
You know, I
and
mean,
and it's
Easter.
and we robbed it from previous religions into our Western
Well,
religions.
that's the whole Roman Catholic just stealing everything. So,
Yeah, exactly. That's how they got absorbed. The people was by absorbing their traditions as well. You know what I
oh,
mean? How do you get a practicing Saturn worshiper to agree to have Jesus's birthday be their solstice celebration? By taking their Saturnalia trees and incorporating them as Christmas trees, Christmas trees. You know, that's how you absorb those previous Romans that worshipped Saturn instead of uh, Yahweh or Jesus. You know, how do you get those ones who still worshipped Roman to convert? Well, you absorb some of their traditions, like decorating a pine tree.
yep.
That was a Roman Saturn celebration.
Oh my God, have you seen this new trend on TikTok and shit like that? Hanging your tree upside down from the ceiling.
That's crazy.
I've never
It
seen
does
it
give you
before.
more room for presence underneath it. It
Oh
would
my,
give you more room for presence underneath it if it came down to a point.
I guess I've never heard of this before. And then I saw like a TikTok coverage of this event and they like 15, 20 different images of people having trees upside down. Like, what the fuck is that?
But if you look in at yard decorations out here, people like putting their lights on things like palm trees and saguaro cactuses and stuff like that. That's what you see decorated in the yards here anyway. So a palm tree has no tree down towards the bottom. You know, it's one little ball of living material up at the top. A palm tree is actually one gigantic blade of grass It is in the grass family. It was crazy.
Okay, like I'm going down a rabbit hole, and it's all Irish Angel's fault. Okay, these clad off rings. It's 3 symbolic elements, and each has its own meaning. A
The
crowned
Claddagh
heart,
ring.
yeah,
Yes.
a crowned heart held by 2 hands. The heart represents love, the crown donates loyalty, and the hands are signs of friendship. So, like, is this like, let's date? I'll pin you with my class pin or something? Like, these aren't wedding rings, are they? They promise rings?
No. Kind of not.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
More of pronouncement of you have my friendship no matter what. You have my loyalty either way.
Well, Irish Angel says, do you have a wife or a girlfriend? That's why I was thinking, like,
Yeah. It's a commitment, yes, but not in a necessarily monogamous relationship type of commitment. Not necessarily that.
oh, there's a way to wear it too. Jesus.
On which hand and in which direction makes a difference. Yes. On whether it's on your right or left hand and which way it's facing.
Oh, see, that's something else.
Each of those 4 positions have different meanings.
That's not even an Irish tradition. It's fucking Roman.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You mean it is an Irish tradition at this point, but it's also it's because it's Roman, because that made it Catholic, and Ireland is deeply Catholic.
That's true. So, and it goes back to
That was a big part of the war between Ireland and Northern Ireland, the quote unquote war, when British and IRA were fighting against each other. Say
oh,
that's what the whole war between those are about is Catholic and Protestants were fucking saying no, this is how it's going to be here.
there's
And
a
it was
story.
literally Catholic against Protestant. That's why it could never be completely purged. Okay, let me explain why it's still there now. It could never be completely purged because it was in the people who actually were of the land, but it had become a division of Irish Catholics versus British Protestants. And it literally became a holy war of people who were there. That's why to this day there is animosity, and why if Brexit caused a closed border there, it would kick things off again and shit like that. Those threats loomed. That is why, is because it's always been Catholic versus Protestant in that area.
Okay.
And
Well, I don't know that region history probably as well as one should. But I'm thinking that the Romans just off the top of my head, the Romans at one time ruled over Ireland because it's a 17th century Roman tradition based off of an Irish folklore.
It wasn't directly due to Roman rule. It was due to the conversion to Catholicism, which was a very Roman thing to do.
Well, this is the story behind it. A young man in Claddagh, a fishing village in Galway. The young man was sold into slavery. During his years of captivity, he dreamed of Claddagh and his lost love. Over the years, he wondered whether the love would be waiting for him when he got home. As time passes, he makes a ring of gold pilfered from his masters. The first ever Claddagh ring was his design. When he finally made it back to Claddagh, his love was waiting for him, and the tradition of the Claddagh ring was born when he presented his love with his design.
Yeah.
So he was sold into Roman slavery, and that's where he made the rings. That's where it became the Roman thing, because he was there. He made it for him, basically for himself. But that's wild. That's wild, dude. Like I said, this is interesting to me. I've never heard of this clad of frame thing. That's a pretty cool story. Oh, Galway's an actual town in Ireland? Irish Angel says Galway's where I'd buy one.
Yeah,
Bugsy's,
that's the home of it. Yeah.
okay. Wow, from the 17th century to now, that town has lasted with the same name. Imagine how many things change in centuries. But from the 17th till now, Galway is still there. Wow.
Well, think about it. The state of Rome is literally now the city of Rome. It's been Rome its whole existence.
Yeah, you're right. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. That's 2,000 fucking years, to more. Whenever Rome became Rome. It's been literally, it's the Colosseum. The Colosseum, look at the age of the Colosseum, period. Supposedly, emperors presented Christians being put to death by lions there, supposedly.
You want to know somebody that could make billions of dollars? We now know the formula for Roman concrete. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find it on the web. Everybody can find out the formula for true Roman concrete from back then.
Yeah.
All a concrete company has to do is start specializing in Roman concrete mixes, whether it be for use in the water, because Roman concrete gets actually with salt water, it gets harder.
Yeah.
Okay. Some company, I don't know why nobody's done this yet, whether it's overseas or here, some company could be making billions right now using an open source formula that everybody knows.
Because there's a certain thing that American business and Chinese business are just alike in the fact that they know this formula, and the formula is called built-in obsolescence. You build things not to last so that you get hired to come back and build more later. That is the secret. That is why we don't use Roman concrete. That is why we don't use the monoliths like the Egyptians did. That is literally why.
Even if you don't make it public, government entities for what they build should be using Roman concrete. My fucking God.
You would think. But then again, there's built-in contract work now that is being handed out. Remember that? Why is it not a county crew that's out here working on the road? Why is it owned by a private construction company? That crew is run by a private motherfucking construction company. It is not a group of county employees. It is not. They're employees to a subcontractor that contracts to the government to build this shit. And somebody's getting their pocket lined every time the fucking shit gets redone. It used to be a 2-lane highway with oncoming traffic. You know what I mean? If you passed, you had to go into the oncoming lane to pass. So how dangerous is that? Well, it was 55 at the time when I was learning to drive. The highway was 55 mile an hour. That was the national speed limit at that time. You remember that, right? The 55 mile an hour national speed limit? Yeah. That's how Sammy Hagar got famous for singing about it, called I Can't Drive 55. You know, he literally got famous for singing about speeding because of the national speed limit. But you know, it's crazy shit. But yeah, I just got fucking space brained real bad.
Okay. Well, happy New Year's, man. My bong's empty. I'm gonna go feed the plants.
Cheers. Happy New Year.
I hope everybody has a great year and things go well for each and every one of you. Peace.
Later, dog pound. Yeah, Angel. I mean, both sides of my family have Irish heritage. My dad's side is, looking back at it, it seems to be is the American Appalachian hillbilly that came out of the Irish potato famine. You know, when a lot of Irish people moved into the Appalachians in America, that seems to be where my dad's side of the family come from. Was Irish American Appalachian hillbilly, and my mom's side of the family, they had an Irish surname as well. They're Marion, so it's like a, you know, I don't know how to. I don't feel particularly more Irish than any other American. I think I could probably blend in because of the way my my the way I look. I could probably blend in real easy there. All right, Angel. Love you. Thanks for coming by. Happy New Year. Hope you have a great year coming up. Cheers, everybody.
I find your lack of cannabis disturbing.
Yeah. How long I've been on? Hour and a half, hour and 2/3. The video I showed a video when I first started the stream. It's a 34-second video, but it's a time lapse. I filmed it holding it in my hand, so it's a miracle it's not more shaky than it is because it's sped up. But yeah, it's the sun going down, and it's way zoomed right there on top of being handheld and time lapse. It's me standing out there with my phone filming the sun go down. So I'd have to say it's pretty goddamn steady. Yeah. I'm glad it didn't mute my mic because I kept right on talking when I played that video. So thank you everybody for coming by. I'm gonna hang it up on this one for now. I'm at 1 hour and 40 minutes. So y'all keep exploring and stay safe. I'll talk at you all later. Hugsy out.
I find your lack of cannabis disturbing.
This is the captain speaking.
Strangleholds for those long nights when you just can't seem to fall asleep. They'll put you out like a light. Get yours tonight. Stranglehold.